Thanks again for checking out our YouTube channel. Appreciate all the love, especially for the Jim Ross interview, which has a lot of views. Make sure you share that along with many of the other interviews that we have here on our channel. Remember, always, if you haven't done so yet, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button right below me, right there. You could see it. It's somewhere there, trust me. But hit that subscribe button. Hey, this interview with Alan Angels, who you saw compete at AEW's Dynamite program. He went up against Kenny Omega and many others as well. So this young guy has been training for not that very long, and he had an opportunity to show off his skills during an AEW Dynamite. And of course, during this pandemic that we are in, a lot of opportunities have come about for young people like Alan Angels and many others that we've had here on the program. So we speak to him about his training regimen, how it all came about getting this opportunity at AEW Dynamite right here on The Roman Show. But hey, I want to say that this interview is brought to you by none other than our good friends of Fight Back CBD. Head on over to fightbackcbd.com and purchase your CBD. This stuff really helps you out with recovery if you exercise a lot. Listen, I'm getting close to 40 here, and I'm still doing things that I would do when I was 20 years old. And this stuff right here has helped me recuperate with my joints and movement, and I feel real good. So hit them up, Fightback CBD on Instagram or their website. That's fightbackcbd.com. Great stuff. All right, Alan Angels on The Roman Show talking about how it all came into the works as far as how he came getting this opportunity for AEW Dynamite, his training regimen, and how he's doing during this quarantine. This and a whole lot more coming up next with Alan Angels. Welcome back, everyone, to The Roman Show. And just like last week, we had Lee Johnson here on the program. We're going to have another young stud coming on The Roman Show to talk about his experience with AEW. This is an opportunity, of course, as you know, we're living through this pandemic, but it's also an opportunity for young guys and girls to shine during this moment as they are getting an opportunity to do so. Like this young gentleman who joins us right now, Alan Angels, who took on Lance Archer at the recent AEW show. And some of those clips are available right now as we speak on YouTube, or you can check theromanshow.com to check out the video itself. But Alan, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And just to plug it away here, you can follow Alan on social media, on Twitter, at Alan_Angels_. Now, Alan, congrats on your debut there. You went up a really tough opponent, Lance Archer, who's this mammoth of a guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure you won't forget that debut. But first and foremost, how are you doing with this quarantine? How are you hanging in there?
Oh, dude, I'm hanging in there. Obviously it's a horrible thing that's happening, but, this opportunity did come out of it. So, I'm grateful for that. As far as, being stuck at home, it sucks. I'm a pretty active guy. I do everything every day. I'm always driving all over the place. So, being stuck in my home all the time is kind of it's kind of a downer, but I'm getting through it.
And in regards to that, how are you staying busy as far as physically? Are you exercising? Any special training that you're doing just to keep your body in motion until we get back in action here and wrestle and perform?
Yeah, well, fortunately I have dumbbells down in my basement, so I've been working out with the dumbbells and stuff. It's kind of limited. There's only so much you can do with just dumbbells, but I think I'm gonna get one of the little pull-up bars that you put in your door, like the door frame. Use that for pull-ups. I might get one of those soon. And then I've been going to the park. Before all this happened, I didn't run very much, but I used to when I was younger. I was on cross country, but I haven't really done much running since then. But I started it back up, so that's pretty cool. Just trying to get out and do a little bit more outside than I normally would.
So it's definitely building up your cardio there. It's a good opportunity to do so. Now,
yeah, for sure.
With the wrestling, of course, this is a negative in a way, in the fact that you can't, especially as a young guy like yourself, you're trying to get that repetition inside the ring, whether it be training at the facility or training at an indie show on the weekend or whatnot. But
yeah,
what are some of the positives when it comes to being stuck at home and not performing constantly? I mean, I look at that as this is a way to to heal up on any bumps and bruises I may have? Anything else that you think that you look into that's helping you out?
Yeah, man. Well, of course it's a way to like heal physically. Like, I've hurt knee, hurt shoulder, hurt elbow and stuff like that. So I'm definitely getting a lot of time to heal up and really get better. But also mentally, man, like it's almost like a reset. You know what I'm saying? You can rethink some of the things that you want to do in the ring, some of the things that you want to do character-wise and stuff like that. And so when you come back, you're so much better character-wise, and just like so many different things that you can change up about yourself. I always said, like, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just take some time off just to rethink what I want to do as a performer. And because it's kind of hard to just like switch it up randomly, especially if you're doing like weekly shows and you don't really have time to really digest what you do as a performer sometimes, and like think about what you want to change and how you want to do something different. But this time off is really helping me out like that. And that too, like I just every week being on the road, that's stressful. Like that is so stressful, just driving hundreds of miles every weekend, stuff like that. So, not doing that is, I miss it, of course, but not doing it is super helpful.
Now, your debut, of course, came during these times. Take me back into how it all started. How did they advise you and your reaction? Did you tell any of your friends or any other performers that you work alongside with? Take us back to that moment. Yeah,
man. Well, I train at the Nightmare Factory, which is in Norcross, Georgia. Right. And it's the head trainer there is QT Marshall, who, is part of AEW. So a lot of his students are, getting a lot of eyes on them and stuff like that. We're definitely not handed any opportunity, but you're definitely getting some eyes. And if they feel like you're ready, if they feel like you can handle some TV time, they'll help you out a little bit. I didn't really tell many people, you try to keep that on the down low, because, unless they announce it beforehand, I don't think they really want, anything about the show being leaked or anything like that. But, I was definitely excited, and it's definitely something that, like, when you're told that you're going to be on, like, national TV and 1 million people are going to watch you in the ring, it's something that you really just want to scream into the world, but you can't, and it's super exciting. But, and just, like, I just go back to 8 years old and watching TV and just thinking, like, man, like, I could really be doing this one day, and it would be the coolest thing in the world if I could do this one day. But, I got to live that dream, but, you got to remember it's just the beginning of the road,
And did you find out from the beginning, from the get-go, that you were taking a Lance Archer, or was it kind of like, hey, come to the tapings and we'll let you know who you're going to take on?
So, that was kind of thrown on me last minute. They had me do some other stuff too, which I knew about, but the Lance Archer thing was just thrown on me last minute. They were literally like, I was already in my gear, and then I got changed out of my gear, and they pulled me aside. They said, get back in your gear and do this. And I was like, okay. So, I went up to Lance and I asked him, like, what do you want to do? And he said, we'll figure it out. And, it was super last minute.
And, of course, Lance Archer is a guy who's had so much experience overseas in New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's been with the WWE at one point with the developmental. So this is a guy, obviously, that you can learn a lot from. But tell me about wrestling this guy. This guy's a big, tall, huge guy. Obviously, the whole point of this match was what they call a squash match, right? Just to put him over. But the guy had made it look super physical. How'd you come out of that match afterwards?
Well, I felt great. He's a good worker, man. He's super safe. Nothing was too bad in there. He's a huge guy, right. So he's pretty intimidating. But it just comes with it, being a small guy in a big man's world. I'm only 5'8", so like matching up against a guy that's whatever, like 6'6" or whatever, however tall he is. I can't imagine how Marco Stunt felt the week before.
Right. No, I feel you on that. Marcus Stunt is a whole lot shorter than a 5'8", I'll tell you that much. But looking back, that some of the great stuff that you got out of this is that on social media, Chris Jericho, Tony Khan, gave you props. Now, we saw that on social media, but did anything happen backstage in the locker room? Did you hear from a Chris Jericho, from a Cody Rhodes, any of these guys or girls that have been in the game for some time and gave you any tips? And what did they share with you?
Well, one thing that really stuck in my mind was after the match, Cody, he hollered at me, said, good job really rising to the occasion on that. And, he just gave me some tips and pointers and, little things. But, just getting props from Cody was one of the real big highlights. And then, of course, Jericho shouted me out on Twitter, even though he got my name wrong on commentary multiple times. But, that was super dope. Cody and Jericho, guys like that, like I've watched those guys since I was a kid. Yeah. And, just being on the same show as them is one thing, but then them, giving you those praises, those props after the match is super cool too.
Now, you've had your experience here with WWN Live. Of course, we know how much of an important promotion they are. We've seen some of these guys and girls that have wrestled for this company end up making their way into NXT and WWE. And also, you've competed for ROH. But how different was it competing for AEW aside from being on national TV? But ROH, Ring of Honor, is a very respected promotion that also has created some amazing talent and even has shared some of their talent overseas. But how different was this whole experience with working with those other promotions?
I love AEW. I've done a few shows with them besides this one before, just as little extra roles and stuff like that. But their locker room is super friendly. Everybody there is super nice. Nobody treats you like a lesser. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're there to do a job or whatever. Everybody in there is super positive. I knew a few of the guys back there from before they were signed with AEW, like Marco and stuff like that. So everybody there is super friendly. It's a good experience all around, I would say. And nothing against all the other promotions like WWN or Ring of Honor or anything like that, but AEW just has this feel to it where something big is really happening here,
And now that we're getting to know you a little more here, how did your whole wrestling experience start? What was the motivation behind it? You did mention that you were active in cross country, and I would presume in high school. But let us know a little history about that. And were you involved in any other sports? And when did it all turn out to you to say, hey, I'm going to be a full-time wrestler here for a career? That, of course, not many of us or many of the people involved in this sport make it, but you chose this path, and so far it's looking good for you.
Yeah, man, I'd say I'm off to a good start. About 3.5 years in, and, I've done all this stuff, and I'm super grateful for it. Sorry, 1 second.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, man, like I said, I'm just super grateful. I haven't done too much sports-wise beforehand. I did a bunch of stuff when I was a kid, before high school. I played all kinds of sports. I played football, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, all that good stuff. But so I've always been pretty athletic. But once I got to high school, I was just kind of doing cross country. But to me, none of that really mattered because I always knew that I was going to be a wrestler. I was like, as soon as I'm done with high school, I'm going to wrestling, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do whatever I can to be successful at it. And I've seen guys skyrocket straight to the top, like Austin Theory. I started training with Austin Theory, and now he's on Raw. I just wrestled on WrestleMania. It's literally one of the coolest things I've seen. Some guys it's not the same, but I do know that I'm going to be successful in this one day. That's pretty much what I consider my destiny, because I've just known since I was 8 years old that this is what I was going to do. So I never really had anything else in mind, I started training right after high school. I got out of high school and went straight to the WWA 4 in Atlanta and trained there for a while, and I went to the Power Factory, and the rest is history,
Yeah, and of course you've had some good training there with AR Fox and QT Marshall. Yeah. Now, of course, being a pro wrestling could be very, very challenging economically, but do you also work aside from just being a pro wrestler as well to keep yourself afloat as far as financially?
Yeah, I do. I work with dogs. I work at a doggy daycare.
Okay.
I love dogs. It's even in my Twitter bio and stuff like that. Yeah. So I would love to, like, even one day, like, hopefully start up, like, some sort of doggy daycare, maybe an animal shelter or something like that. That's kind of like a little side dream I have that I would like to do with wrestling money or something like that, you know. But wrestling is my main goal. I think with the whole wrestling thing is make a good living off of wrestling. You know, that's a big goal of mine. If I can make a good living off of wrestling, I'd be happy, you know.
Well, I think maybe you should share that to Cody Rhodes. I know he's big into dogs. He always brought some dogs, his dog actually, to the ring. So maybe that's something that you could bring up to him.
Farrell was there at the AEW taping, and I was with him the whole time.
There you go. But so what's next for you here? Do we know? I know that AEW has filmed a couple of shows already to kind of kept it there because of the circumstances that we are in. But what's next for you? Do we see you coming back again sometime in the near future on AEW television, or will we be seeing you at a next indie show? And have any indie promoters reached out to you and say, hey, when we're back in business, I want you on my card?
Yeah, well, I don't know what's next, man. It's so hard to tell with this whole quarantine thing happening. Like, nobody's really, like, promoting shows that are coming up because they don't know, you know. I think right now the date is April 30th. You know, you never know if they're going to move it back or whatever. So, you know, nobody's really as far as indie shows, nobody's really planning on doing anything right now. Hopefully that's kind of the plan. I gained a good amount of followers, you know, just from being on AEW and of course the Jericho tweet and stuff like that. So hopefully some big indies will hit me up. That's the goal. I have a few that I'm a regular at already that are, you know, pretty significant on the indie scene. At least I like to think so, on IWTV and stuff like that. So I have a few of those shows lined up. Black Label Pro is a show I would love to be on. Action Wrestling, I'm a regular at. SUP in Nashville, I'm a regular at. So stuff like that. And as far as AEW goes, man, you know, I don't know. You might just see me pop up there every once in a while. You never know. I don't know. I'd love to. That's the goal, to be a regular on there, of course.
Well, I'm sure that you've left a good image there for the guys. Heck, the boss wrote back to you, right? Tony Khan. That's a big deal. So I'm sure that we will probably more than likely be seeing you on AEW. I want to thank you so much, Alan. Anything else you want to add?
Not really. Just follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Alan_Angels on Instagram. I said earlier, Alan_Angels_ on Twitter. And, you know, check me out. Give me some likes and follows.
There you go. That's, again, follow him on social media. And we hope to see Alan once again in AEW. You never know. You know, I still haven't heard or seen any cruiserweight titles for AEW. And there's a lot of guys out there that could be part of this. So maybe that's something AEW will look into the future, and you could be part of that pool.
That'd be dope, man. I'd love that.
There we go. All right, then. Well, thanks so very much for your time, man. And we look forward to seeing you inside the ring once again very, very soon.
This is The Roman Show.